Hi, and welcome back to another video. And today I'll be talking about Vivek Ramaswamy announcing his candidacy for Ohio Governor of 2026 just only a couple days ago. This was on February 24th. Today is February 27th, 2025. So about 3 days ago, Vivek Ramaswamy announced his 2026 bid for Ohio Governor. Now, if you don't know who Vivek Ramaswamy is, basically Vivek Ramaswamy became very popular with the right when he ran for president in 2024 in the Republican primary. He made it to a couple of debates. He lost the Iowa primary, then dropped out of the race. Then he got into Trump's cabinet after Trump won the election, the 2024 presidential election. And then decided to leave the cabinet. Well, he wasn't in the cabinet. He was going to be part of Doge. It was going to be with Vivek and Elon Musk, the Doge, or the Department of Government Efficiency. Then Vivek Ramaswamy decided to leave there, and that is when he announced his campaign, or his candidacy for the governor of Ohio in the Ohio governor election in 2026. This is going to be one of the many open races of governor elections in 2026, along with Michigan, Florida, Georgia, so many. We do have some, we have some vulnerable governors like Kathy Hochul of New York or Katie Hobbs of Arizona. And I think that the Republican in Nevada, very vulnerable too. He's gonna be up for re-election. Lombardo, I think that's his name. But yeah, we will get eventually to all those races. We'll get to them eventually. But Vivek Ramaswamy announcing his bid for Ohio governor. Now, we have only gotten a couple polls about this, but I did watch his speech. But in case you didn't watch it, he's quoted in this article saying, "Today I'm honored to announce that I'm running for the next governor of a great state at the heart of the greatest nation known to mankind. The state where I was born and raised, the state where Provo was, and I raised our two sons today, a state whose best days are still ahead," Ramaswamy said at a rally in Cincinnati. The interest by Ramaswamy comes after Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announced his candidacy last month to succeed term-limited Republican Governor Mike DeWine in a race that could draw other GPO contenders. Former Ohio Health Director Amy Acton is running for the Democratic nomination. Trump won Ohio by 11 points in November's election. So yeah, it is important to remember that Ohio is a very Republican-leaning state. Obviously not as Republican as Texas or Florida, because Trump won Texas by, I believe, 13 points, and the same around with Florida. So Texas and Florida they lean much more right than Ohio does. Ohio used to be a battleground state where it used to be a state where Democrats were able to make some gains. However, in recent years, that is no longer the case. And it is a little bit more difficult for Democrats to be able to make, to make gains in elections. But 2026 is another year for Democrats to maybe try to redeem themselves after losing the 2022 governor race in Ohio by such a large margin. And Mike DeWine, popular Republican governor, won his primary big, won his re-election big. He, like the article said, he's ineligible to run. So there are going to be these open primaries. There's going to be an open primary for the Republican field. There's going to be an open primary for the Democrat field. And we still have a lot to go until we know who the nominees are. But Vivek Ramaswamy is a big name to throw in this ring. We do have some polls, and it is confirmed that Vivek Ramaswamy is a declared candidate. Of course, like I said, we have Dave Yost, who is the Attorney General of Ohio. We have Heather Hill, former president of the Morgan County School Board. So I believe these are Republicans, or these are just declared. If we go down to... Is there no Republican primary in here? Oh! Okay, so this is the Republican primary. So I think we were just looking at that. So yeah, that's what we were looking at. So Heather Hill, Vivek Ramaswamy, David Host. Potential is Mike Harvey, U.S. Representative for the 15th District of Ohio since 2021. William Davidson, Representative for Ohio's 8th Congressional District from 2016. And Jim Tresto, Lieutenant Governor of Ohio since 2025. So he's fairly new as a Lieutenant Governor. We have candidates who have withdrawn. Matt Mayer, former director of the Buckeye Institute, Robert Sprigg, Ohio State Treasurer since 2019, and he endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy. And he's also running for Secretary of State. Jeremy Workman, Veteran Affairs Class Assistant and candidate for Lieutenant Governor 2022. Failed verification. Declined. John Husted, U.S. Senator since 2025 and candidate for Governor 2018. Frank LaRose, Ohio Secretary of State since 2019 and candidate for U.S. Senate in 2024. Running for State Auditor, endorsed Ramaswamy. So I actually remember the Ohio 2024 Senate race. Republican primary was very interesting. Obviously, you had like 3 Republican candidates, and LaRose was like the 3rd one, and he didn't get really very far in the primary. So it'll be interesting if he decides to run in this election, which he is not. It'll be interesting to see what LaRose also does, in his political future. He sponsored this Republican ballot that had to do with abortion, which I believe failed. He raised a lot of money on it in 2000, and I think it was 2024. Yeah, I think it was 2024, and it failed. It was either 2024 or 2022. I had to look it up later. But yeah, we have Vivek Ramaswamy, a declared candidate, big name, very tied to Trump, and I think that's either going to help him or hurt him. So now on the Democrat side, we have declared Amy Acton, former director of the Ohio Department of Health, 2019-2020. We have publicly expressed interest. Chris Redfern, former state representative, 1999-2002, and then 2003-2008, and then 2013-2014, and former chair of the Ohio Democratic Party since 2005 to 2014. And then we also have Tim Ryan, the former U.S. representative from 2003 to 2023, and nominee for U.S. Senate in 2022. So I also do remember the Ohio Senate race very well between Tim Ryan and J.D. Vance, where Tim Ryan was the Democrat nominee, J.D. Vance obviously being the Republican nominee. And there was actually where Tim Ryan actually did pretty well in the debate, although he lost pretty big to J.D. Vance, who obviously, went on to be the VP choice for the Trump campaign, and, who is now the current Vice President of the United States. So if Tim Ryan runs, I think he's probably the best the Democrats can put up if Vivek Ramaswamy is the Republican candidate. And I do believe that Vivek Ramaswamy will be the Republican candidate, especially from these polls we're seeing. So all these polls are either, so far, they are Democratic-funded polls or they are Republican-funded polls. As you can see here, Republican, Democrat, Democrat. So the first poll we got on that had to do with this Republican primary was on February 5th, 2025, where you have Ramaswamy up by 31 points. Now, remember, this is before Vivek decided to announce. He announced on February 24th, and this poll just came out just about almost 3 weeks before Vivek announced his candidacy for governor. Now, February 24th, which would be the day Vivek decided to run for governor here, and Vivek is up by 28 points. Sure, that is that he's doing poorly by 3 points, but still he's getting close to where he was, so it really doesn't hurt him. Yost, performing even worse, and so is Ramaswamy, probably because, there's other candidates in here that equal up to 2%, but still, Vivek having this large lead in this primary poll. And then we got our first general election polls, which are, being sponsored by the Democrats, or, by this Democrat PAC. So this was on February 25th, 2025, where we actually have Acton leading Vivek Ramaswamy by a point. And then we had this other poll where Vivek was leading Ryan by 6 points. Now, Ryan, right, I don't think is a confirmed candidate here. If we go to the Democratic primary, declared is Amy Acton. So Amy Acton, so, okay, so this is probably against Tim Ryan. I'm assuming this is against Tim Ryan, so this is kind of hypothetical, but still, this is the poll that matters, not this one. This is what matters. So we have Acton leading Ramaswamy by 1 point, and I have said in the past, when looking at elections like this before, that, and you guys have heard me say it in my videos when I cover the 2024 presidential election, that polls like this, if you have Acton or Vivek up by 1 point, it does not matter. That means it's going to be extremely close, and it's going to be extremely hard to predict this election if it's close by 1 to 3 points. Like I said in the Montana Senate race for 2024, I thought Jon Tester was going to lose re-election by just 3 to 5 points. What happened? He lost him by 6 to 7 points, I believe. And that race was close enough as it is, but Jon Tester lost because Trump was on the ballot, and Trump's base showed up to vote for Trump, and they showed up to vote for whoever's the Montana senator now. I can't remember his name at this time, but still. This race has the potential to be very close. However, still a long way to go until we get to the 2026 governor elections, and it's funded by a Democrat. It's funded by a Democrat PAC. This pollster is. So until we get some polls that aren't funded by Democrats or Republicans, it's still uncertain where this race sits at now and who is the favorite, especially since we don't even know who the nominees are. But as of right now, the potential nominees could be just Amy Acton and Vivek Ramaswamy. And if that's the case, as of right now, Acton seems to have, an advantage over Vivek Ramaswamy. But Vivek Ramaswamy clearly having the advantage of the Republican primary, especially being so tied to Trump, looks like he might get the nomination if he is doing so well in these polls against Yost. Yost only getting 18%, Ramaswamy only getting 46%. But for now, it does look like maybe the Democrats have an advantage here. Maybe they could take back the governor's mansion after losing the governor's mansion or losing all these governor elections in Ohio for so long now. Maybe 2026 is their year, especially if Donald Trump's approval continues to collapse. As you see right here, Donald Trump's approval, again today, is at 0.7%. I talked about his approval yesterday, and really it hasn't moved so much, but still, it is in, as of right now, very dangerous territory of dropping in the negative numbers. Previously to when he first entered office, within +8 approval, now it sits under a point and almost going under half. It sits at over half of a point, at 0.7%, and as of right now, it is in danger of going underwater. So, like I mentioned constantly, that Donald Trump's approval will matter in these 2026 governor races and the Senate races and the House races. Obviously, I'm certain that Republicans will probably lose the House, but I don't think they'll lose the Senate as of now. I cannot make any 2026 map predictions until we enter the year of 2026. We have a long way to go. Till then, I'll be making 2025 monthly governor predictions. Make sure to watch out that when we get into March here. You guys can watch my my February prediction. It's in the playlist for election predictions. You guys can go check those out, and we'll see how those go. But for now, I do believe that Vivek Ramaswamy has entered this close race between between Acton, this Democrat, who has thrown his hat in the ring. So I still think that until we get more polls, it is really, really hard to tell that whoever's leading here between Acton or Ramaswamy. And we probably, can be expecting more of these candidates in this Ohio governor race to throw in. I don't think Acton and Ramaswamy will be the only one in. And same with Yost, who is, I believe, also in the race. Let me go to the Republican primary. Oopsies. Republican primary. I believe Yost is also declared. Yep, David Host also in. Same with Heather Hill. She hasn't been polled yet. But yeah, we will see. Oh no, unless I think she was. No, she's not. What about this one? No, Hill has not been polled yet. So far, we've only polled Ramaswamy, Yost, and Acton for all these 3 candidates who have entered the race. 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat. And I can't say, this poll looks good for Acton, but because it's sponsored by a Democrat PAC, I can't say that, maybe the Democrats have an advantage here. So until we get a non-Democrat or Republican-funded poll, I can't exactly say that either Ramaswamy has the advantage or Acton has the advantage, especially when we are probably expecting more candidates to jump in this race. But until now, it is very, very hard to tell. But anyways, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like the video and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.